Hello, friends. I'm here with a new book which I came across lately. It is an informative and interesting book, and I decided to talk about it. The name of the book is A Hands On Guide for Commissioning Editors. It is written by Anjie Chatt. By the way, do you know who the commissioning editors are? Let me tell you about it first. Then you will know the importance of this book. A commissioning editor selects new authors, reviews and evaluates scripts, and supervises all the processes right from the selection of the manuscript to the publishing of the book. He or she is also involved in discussions about legal agreements, royalties, formats, covers, terminations, and actual printing. But this is not all. The commissioning editor handles different things at different levels simultaneously, including budgeting, administration, finance, and even strategy. It's a very important position, no doubt. It is a senior position in a publishing house or a company. He or she suggests to the publishing house or the company which books they should publish or not publish. You can imagine the scope of work. And to achieve this, the commissioning editor has to be meticulous, methodical, updated about the latest trends, and most importantly, he or she must have an eye for hunting the right writing talent. They play a crucial role in the media and publishing industries, serving as decision makers responsible for selecting and acquiring content for publication or broadcast. They must also assess and manage risks associated with content creation, which can involve controversies, legal issues, and the overall impact on the organization's reputation. Now about the book. This book is a one-stop shop for those who want to know everything about commissioning editors or the editing process, whether employed or freelance. The book has been authored by a very senior person in the education space who is a commissioning editor herself. She makes win-win deals with publishers and content developers across India and Asia. She works in diverse markets and thus knows the schools and curricula in many countries like the UK, Europe, Indonesia, Brunei, Australia, and China. She has written this book with both Indian and international school curricula in mind. She has in-depth knowledge of various textbooks and why and how they are developed, keeping the latest trends in mind. The author has thoroughly explained the changing scenario of the publishing industry and how writers and readers have changed their mindsets. With the onset of digital learning, the role of editors has changed a lot. She mentions that the readers have become more demanding and they need discoverable content all the time, handy at one click. I am sure, friends, you will agree to this. This is our first book in the series of the modern guides for publishing professionals. I think the word modern is important here because it will give us an insight into new trends and current requirements in the publishing industry. In the ever-changing and complex school textbook market, it is good to have a manual, a guide to help the editors and authors know the intricacies and also how to handle them. The chapter 1 of this book explains to us the role of the commissioning editor in detail. Traditionally, the educational publishing industry comprised textbooks, workbooks, test preparations, teacher guides, storybooks, and classroom magazines which supported the delivery of core curriculum material. However, in the pandemic era, most of the schooling has gone from offline to online. This compelled the publishers to change their textbooks and become compatible with online schooling methods. But educational publishing adapted quickly. E-textbooks, video streaming, digital delivery, gamification, and cloud computing are now the buzzwords of educational publishing. The commissioning editor can pinpoint what features work best for the end users of the textbooks and associated products. For this, the commissioning editor must be aware of the competitors in the market. She emphasizes that the commissioning editor must network not only with the authors but also with reviewers, freelancers, as well as potential adopters of the book. She has explained beautifully with examples how a CE, that is a commissioning editor, designs curriculum-based textbooks, revives an old edition, or packages it to suit different markets. She also speaks about the cosmetic changes of the book to make it sale-worthy. Chapter 2 decodes the book proposals. Do you know what are book proposals? Well, a book proposal is sent by the CE to the author and it contains 5 important things. 1. Author information. 2. Book or series information. 3. Scope and sequence. 4. Market research. 5. Sample chapters. She has described and explained each of these in detail in this chapter. Chapter 3 tells us about the scope and sequence document. Chapter 3 tells us how to make a scope and sequence document. This chapter deals with an overview of what the curriculum requires to be taught, and it lays down the order in which a student will learn the required skills and learning objectives. This document ensures that the core materials deliver the required learning at the end of each grade. She has explained it methodically and also told the reader how to create it. That is what I loved about the book. It talks about a problem or a requirement and immediately gives a solution then and there. Chapter 4 tells us how to develop an author brief. For a school market textbook, the author brief should have the following things: language, cultural sensitivities, format, permissions, writing style, schedule, and so on. The chapter explains it all with examples. Chapter 5 speaks about budgets for various textbook projects that a CE commissions, like development costs, book specifications, manufacturing costs, sales, and marketing costs, etc. Chapter 6 is about creation of contracts. For the various projects that the commissioning editor does, publishing houses or companies have to make various contracts with the author. It includes a lot of things like fees for writing, royalties, rights, responsibilities, representations, termination, and so on. Chapter 7 gives us an insight into how the school markets in Singapore, UK, and India work. While private publishers still do a fair amount of business in the Indian school market, they have had to rethink their pricing strategies and invest a good deal in digital products like LMS or learning management systems. She has also dealt with issues like signing the authors, payment terms of the school teachers, etc. The author highlights the point that the commissioning editor must be open-minded, well aware of what is going on around, and flexible to adapt to changes to bring the best textbooks to the market. Chapter 8 tells us about the book proposal meeting and how to nail it. In this meeting, the CE or the commissioning editor decides the fate of the book, that is, whether it will be published or not, or even taken up for that process. You can read the chapter for all the details that describe the process and also the meeting. Chapter 9 is about the process of handover to the editor. Once a book proposal is completed, the CE needs to share the proposal, keep the budget ready, and get approvals from all heads of departments. Once this has been done, the editorial handover meeting is called. She describes in detail how the meeting takes place and who from the publishing house attends it. The CE's presentation matters a lot here since the CE is involved in all aspects of the publication process. Chapter 10 has a glossary of the terminology she has used throughout the book. For example, for the different boards like CBSE, SSC, or the terms like NCERT, LMS, and so on. In the appendix of the book, she has given a list of documents like author brief, book proposal. You can even download it, and they are very useful since you can get a reference easily. You will find this section particularly very helpful because she has made available all the documents which have detailed information, and they are all in one place in the book. I am sure an author or anybody else related to the publishing industry will not have to look anywhere else to find information about things required to submit to the publishing house. This ebook was published in January 2023 by the publishing house Learning Tides Limited. The language of the book is English, and it is text-to-speech enabled, and it is also screen reader enabled. So this book or this manual will help the commissioning editors achieve the purpose and also nurture long-lasting relationships with all the parties involved in the publishing process, like schools, institutions, author teams, or single author, and anyone who is a part of the publishing process. I have posted the link to buy this ebook from Amazon in the description box. Do have a look. Happy reading, have a good day, and see you in the next episode with a new book. Thank you.